the way you operate independently is what separates you from other content creators. If you start employing other people, excuse me, you end up having to represent them or vice versa. You know, I just saw a random tweet on Twitter last night. And now, I just want to make this clear. I'm not a political guy. I don't side politically with anybody. But I saw James Woods did a tweet last night, okay? I don't follow him. It just ended up in my feed randomly. And it was kind of a political tweet because he's a political guy. He claims that he's been canceled in Hollywood for being a Republican, basically, all right? But basically, someone were talking to him about, why don't you monetize your Twitter? You can now monetize your Twitter account. And if you monetize your Twitter by becoming a verified person or whatever, essentially you'll get a cut of the ad revenue that shows up in the ads in all of your responses. And they're saying, you know, James, because you're a political guy, you get a lot of people who comment on your tweets. You might make some money doing it. And he basically responded and he said the following. When you accept money from someone, that person now owns you. That person now has some level of control over you. And he would prefer to be independent with his thoughts than feel like anyone has some kind of control over him. Do you see? Now, I don't really know if that applies to this whole Twitter ad thing, but I could totally understand that. There's been so many times over the years where I've been offered the opportunity to represent a game, to advertise a game, to take a paid sponsorship or a paid advertisement to Shill, essentially. I get them still all the time. I get emails about, hey, we got this new indie game, we got this mobile game, we got this, we'd like you to you know, push it, represent it on your channel, you know, for this amount of money, and this would be the contract where you have to do this amount of mentions, you have to have this little video ad that plays in your video and stuff like that. If you haven't noticed, not once have I ever accepted those. Not once. Why? Because you're absolutely right. If you take that money, essentially that content is now a paid advertisement. And even though there still might be people who get entertainment value out of it, right? Essentially, it's an owned video. That company now owns that content. You know what I mean? Like, they paid for the rights, and now they own that content because of the ads in it. And, you know, I don't ever want to go that route. I want to be that no matter what I'm doing on the internet, I have the ability to say and do whatever I want and be honest with my audience. I don't ever want to feel like I'm walking on eggshells and something that I say could lose a sponsorship for me, could cost me an opportunity. I hate to say it. There's a lot of people on the internet who used to be independent, and now they are 100%, everything's a paid advertisement, everything's a paid sponsorship. The most ridiculous things. Why is there a fucking gamer who's pushing a food product on their stream? They're a gamer. They don't know shit about food. But, hey, it's a paid advertisement, and they get paid for it, so push the product, right? That's the kind of stuff I'm telling you guys you got to be careful about. When someone is only making content for the sake of taking the paycheck, that content is null and void. You got to be careful because there's people out there who, man, they'll sound like they're honest. They sound like they're doing it because they have passion. No, they're doing it for that paycheck, or else they wouldn't fucking take that fucking shill opportunity. You know what I'm saying? So, I don't know. I'm not like that, you know? So, you know, that's what I mean. Like, I try to be different. I've always tried to stay different. If you're right, if I have employees who are under me and I pay, now I'm responsible for those employees. I'm responsible for the level of work. I'm responsible for all of this. Like I said, this one-man show has been going pretty long. And by the way, I should say this too. I want you to understand something. I don't do it alone. It's through a community of people, right? Like the artwork I have on my streams, the lighting I have behind me, this camera that I'm staring into are 3 different people who all contributed to this content to make it better. And together as a community, we make good times together. You know what I'm saying? That's how it really works, is that that's true crowdfunding. You want to talk about crowdfunding. It's not just money being thrown your way. It's effort. It's time. It's investment. It's, you know, knowledge. And that's how I am where I am. Not because of any kind of investment from a fucking corporation. You know, I'm not backed by a fucking company paying me. It's people who actually have passion supporting the content and improving it, you know? That's awesome to think about that. That literally everything here is from the community. It's not some fucking corporation paid for this. This is not, you know, Chick-fil-A artwork. This is not a fucking Raid Shadow Legends webcam. This is all the community made this happen, man. You know what I'm saying? That's amazing. So, there you go. What's hilarious is, oh, I wouldn't mind if you had a paid sponsor. Well, I would. That's the point. That's how I'm different. How do you not get that, right? And the thing is, people don't like that because they want to pretend that I'm not different. They want to pretend like, oh, his content's bad or whatever, and you can't. When you actually look at the things that set me apart from everything else, and they're actually concrete, then they want to discredit them. Well, fuck you. No, I've actually strived to stay independent for 15 years and not be under some influence of outsiders and people who tried to do this shit to me over the years. You know what I mean? It's different. It is very different from other people who are constantly doing that kind of shit. Taking the ad, taking the paid bullshit, you know. Taking the 50K to be something you don't want to be just for the sake of making a fucking, getting that bag. You know what you could do with that bag? You could shove it up your fucking ass. Because that's not what I'm about. I'm here to be passionate, to make real content, to have good social interactions with a community who cares. That's the difference between me and everyone else out there taking their bags and fucking making it, man. All right? Okay.